Now, for a closer look at the trends in video gaming and movie adaptations, we're joined by Daniel Levine. He's the senior editor of the Celebrity Cafe. Daniel, thanks for joining us tonight. Now, there are at least 30 movies in production that are featuring video game adaptations. Why do you see this trend emerging right now?
Well, mostly because Hollywood likes to have a property that has already a built-in audience. So you'll see they don't want to spend so much money on an idea that hasn't been tested in the market before. So these movies cost so much money. The average blockbuster probably costs between $150 and $200 million. So you want to make a movie that you're sure is at least going to make $100 million opening weekend. And video games already have a huge base, a fan base behind them. Sony and Sega just announced that they're going to make a Sonic the Hedgehog movie, and that's a franchise that's been around for 20 years. So you already have a built-in fan base for that. They know that there are Sonic fans who are going to come out and see that movie and tell their friends to see the movie as well.
Okay, so that's the case where a movie, that's a case where a movie is made based on a video game that already existed, and you're saying that those tend to do quite well. What about the reverse, when you create a franchise through a movie, for example, and then try to create a video game based on the movie? Does that usually turn out to be successful?
I don't think it works that well. You've seen examples like Star Trek has tried to go from the movie to the video game, and it hasn't quite worked to the amount of success that it has. But you see The Walking Dead has successfully transferred itself to a video game because of the episodic nature of both television and video games. So I really don't think that the movies are one particular adventure, and to stretch that out to a whole video game adventure is harder to do than, say, cut up a video game into several different, or cut up an episode of television into separate levels of a video game and transfer it to the video game realm.
Okay, well, Daniel, what about Star Wars? Because we know that Electronic Arts is going to be producing Star Wars video games over the next 10 years. They've gotten the rights to do that. Given that it has such it would seem like it would lend itself well to the video game world. Is there sort of a guarantee that it will be a success? What are the expectations? Well,
Star Wars is a little bit different because there's so many different characters that the adventures have. They want to know. Fans want to know the adventures of, say, Boba Fett or Han Solo, who aren't exactly central to the main storyline of the film. So Disney and Electronic Arts, they can, as we've written about it on the celebritycafe.com, about trying to expand the universe of Star Wars. Star Wars is such a huge expanded universe, and Disney is now going to create its own expanded universe, forgetting the past expanded universe, if that makes sense. So I think that the new video games from Electronic Arts should at least be successful, because it's more ways for Star Wars fans to get into the new universe that Disney is setting up. So
okay. Now, what about Batman? Because you've got Batman Arkham Knight, and there's a Batman movie coming out in a couple of years. Is that something that would lend itself also well to the video game world? I mean, those two, does it depend on if you've got a really well-known brand that can work well, but if you want to create new movies with video game, that's much more challenging. Is that a fair assessment?
Yeah, well, Arkham Asylum, the Arkham Knight series, is kind of like one of the exceptions to the rule. So I think that Arkham Knights has built its own fan base. So you try to get those fans also interested in the movies. So you have the Batman fan base that's built up for 75 years now, since they're celebrating the 75th anniversary of Batman. And then you also have the video game fan who got into Batman through the Arkham Knight series. So I think Warner Brothers is going to hope they're going to spend probably very close to $200 million on the Batman vs. Superman movie that's not due out for 2016, but
Right.
they're going to hope that the Batman video games build up the audience even more, because they're also
Daniel,
competing with Marvel.
Okay, this is fascinating stuff, but we unfortunately run out of time, as it is on TV. Thank you so much for joining us. We really appreciate your input.